But we've got Kate joining us this evening. Hello, Kate.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for letting me
How
join.
is That's all right. We don't mind. How is lockdown life going?
I'm loving it. I am actually loving it. I'm enjoying spending time at home, which is a novelty for me. I'm enjoying catching up on loads of admin, writing the book. I'm enjoying the sunshine. At the minute, I'm really, yeah. At the moment, I'll be like, do I want to go back to work? Touch wood.
Yeah,
So
that,
far,
that time's going to come, and everyone's going to have a culture shock then because we've all got used to being at home now.
I
And
know.
think when you have to go back, like, no, I don't want to do that. So
I
we're live on our Facebook page. So today we're going to talk all about tarot, and hopefully we'll have James join us very shortly. But just to kick things off, Kate, tell us a bit about your background, how you got into all this.
Oh, it's a long, long story, really. How can I keep it
That's
short?
all right, I don't mind.
So I had my first deck of cards when I was about 15, I think. They were, what were they? Russell Grant ones. Didn't have a clue how to use them. And I would just do them with a few friends. And then intuitively, I didn't even know what intuition was, but intuitively I'd be picking up bits and pieces. And then it took a long time, but they would then come back to me later on and say, oh, what you said then has come about and so on. Just had a little bit of an interest in it. And then as time moved on, I started to connect with people that were into the spiritual thing. And we had that in common. Again, didn't have a clue about any of it. Just the vibe was attracting the same type of people. And then I worked down Southsea Pier for a little while. I think I was about
Oh, wow.
15, 6. I think I was about 16, 17 roughly then. And I worked for this couple. I did astrology readings, and they were mediums in the little booth there. And I was really into astrology. So, you name it, all my friends, I knew all their star signs. I could just work them out by their personality when I was at school. Anyway, then I started to join in my 20s, the circles, got into my 30s, gave up work, started to really get involved in it properly and really take it serious and start to understand it. And then wasn't so many, I don't know, 2 years ago, I found out that the couple I worked with in down Southsea happened to be Colin, my partner's mum and stepdad. So
That is eerie in itself.
isn't that weird? So I was like, yeah,
That is weird.
20 years ago it was, 20 years ago. We were just chatting down Bournemouth Pier and she said that she used to have a little booth down a pier. And I said, oh, I used to work down Southsea Pier. And she said, oh, my friend Ron got me his little niece to work with us. And she described the booth and I thought, God, that sounds familiar. And then I was like, oh my God, I was the little girl. I was that girl. So really bizarre. Really bizarre. I think Colin, I was about 16, 17. Colin, I think he said he was about nearly 30, just left his first wife then, I think. So it probably wouldn't have been a good match at the time. But yeah,
All these years later, it's worked out fine.
I know, it's bizarre. But yeah, I've been interested in it forever, but probably only been getting really, really into it the last 15 years, I think. Now, yeah.
The weird thing for me is I've never actually had a tarot reading.
I mean,
That's odd, isn't it? No, I've never had one. No,
yeah, that is odd.
I
Considering
know. I don't know why. It's just
things.
yeah. No, I've been doing this. I've been in the paranormal for a good 20 odd years, but I've never had a tarot read. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm interested by it. I would like to know,
Are you a
but a
bit
part of me thinks,
skeptic?
well, if it's not so good news, I don't know. But
Are you a,
I do find it interesting.
are you
I'll
a
be
skeptic
honest.
with it as well?
No, I don't know if I'm skeptical. No, I don't know. When I say skeptical, I think skeptical maybe a bit more of maybe the person doing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like to think that you've been doing this job a long time. You know, there's people out there who will kind of play on what they pick up and stuff, and others are genuine with it. I think there's definitely something behind it because you've done readings yourself, and those things have happened, or people said, "Yeah, that is my great grandmother," or whatever that you're talking about. So there is obviously something behind it. I guess my problem is I always want to know more about everything, and you can't always do that.
yeah.
Not in this field, anyway.
Well,
Certainly not.
sometimes, I mean, the way I've worked is evolved and changed over the years, and I've learned different styles even while being off. So when I go back, the way I
Yeah,
will be different. It's always changing all the time. And the way I used to work it now, where I used to do a lot of predictions and say this is coming up, this is coming up. Now I use a lot more for guidance. So I talk about what the card means in a particular situation that they're going through now as a guidance, and then I'll layer it with the prediction stuff later on. Whereas before it was all about
yeah.
prediction stuff. But now the cards, they can be used for so many things, not just prediction. And obviously with times like we are, where everybody's a little bit nervous at the moment, predictions, some people want to know when we're going to come out of this, how it's going to affect their business, how it's going to affect their lives. But it's more, I think, about people having the support from the cards at the minute. The prediction side isn't really as important as just getting through day by day, and that's what the cards can offer. I'm finding at the minute.
Yeah. I mean, we are in tough times at the moment, as you said. So, it is difficult to know where we're going to come out of this, but certainly for support, yeah, it's a fantastic thing. We've got a couple of comments on here as well. So, Corinne, hello, good evening to you. We've got Philip listening on, or watching online as well. That's my radio voice coming out there. James, not our James, another James is listening and watching online as well. And Corinne said, I used to play with cards years ago and sometimes had interesting results. Gave her ideas for experiments. Interesting. Like I said, I've never done it. There are different types of tarot, as you mentioned, isn't there?
They're what, sorry?
There's different types, isn't there, when it comes to tarot? Am I right in thinking that?
There's loads of different styles of cards, but the base meaning is the same, whatever deck you're going to use.
Right.
But because of the imagery on some of the decks, you can get drawn to different things. So intuitively, you can get drawn to different things from the different decks, but the baseline will be, so I don't know, say we have the tower, for example, which is what probably is going on in the world at the moment. Everything is the tower. The baseline is chaos, upheaval, and big uncontrollable changes. But on another deck, it might be called upheaval. It might be called change, and then the imagery might be a little bit more softer. Other decks, the Thoth deck, it's a little bit more scarier. So there could be things that come out of it differently depending on the deck, but the baseline is the same.
And do you find that people are quite receptive and quite open to having these readings, or do you get the odd person who goes, "Oh, I'm not sure I agree with that," and all that kind of stuff? How do people take it?
Now I'm done with the ones that want me to prove it. If anybody, they don't really come to me now, but they used to. Oh, I don't believe in it. Prove it. But I don't. Now I nearly swore then, and I realised I weren't on my own show.
Don't worry.
Now,
all adults is fine.
If you don't want a reading, don't have a reading. I'm not going to be the one to prove it to you. Just jog on. So most of the people I get are they come because they believe in it. They come because they've either heard about the way I work. I don't get many skeptics now. Sometimes in London, there's been in Selfridges, there's been a few up there. They're just coming in just off the off chance. Portsmouth people, the people that book me here, are totally different. But the ones that are just the off chance ones, they can sometimes not really understand how it works and want some different answers, shall we say. And a lot of people up there particularly, but they want to sort of find, well, what's my ex-boyfriend's girlfriend going to be like? Are they going to last together with the ex? And what's the ex?
Oh God.
What's the ex thinking of me? And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. I'm not. You can look.
I suppose sometimes as well, you're going to get the odd person who will know you're telling them the right information, but they don't know how you're getting that information. So sometimes it can be a little bit like, well, I don't think you're right, because they're almost shocked in a way. They don't know where you got it from.
Yeah, I get lots of people say, how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know? Loads of people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. We've got a couple of other people here. I've got Gemma Waller who said, I work with Kate. She's awesome.
Gemma.
Sandy's online as well. We've got Rachel, we've got Tom. Yeah, we've got a lot of people listening online, watching online. So thank you very much for joining us. It's always good to have you online. It is tough times at the moment, so we're really grateful that people like Kate have come online and spent a bit of time with us tonight. So I was saying, I've never done tarot. If you get something that's, I guess, not quite so positive for someone, how did you do that? How do you deal with that?
So you've got to be obviously professional. You can't lie. You can't say everything's going to be rosy when it's clearly not. But you have to use tact. And the point of the reading is to guide them, to help them, to support them through their challenges, to support them through difficulties. So if they were to come to me and I don't know, I could see something, I don't know, something bad was going to happen to them, I wouldn't just say to them, hello James. I wouldn't just say something.
He's here.
something bad is going to happen to you in 3 months' time, see you later, I would be wording it in a way that, yeah, you're going to have some challenges coming up, but here's the tools to be able to help you deal with that, so that you're giving them their own tools and they're going out the door feeling uplifted, feeling like they can handle it, not feeling like they want to go and throw themselves under a bus.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, good to have a.
it's
Yeah,
just
you've got to be sensitive about it, haven't you? I suppose, in a way.
it's about being
James is with us.
Yes, hello. Sorry about that. I was my computer keeps on blocking everything from anything opening up or whatever. So I've gone back to using my mobile again.
Okay,
technology.
this happens every show. Yeah, we're okay. It's just him.
I had it.
James, we're talking about tarot this evening. So, Kate, we've all worked together a few times in the past. James, we're talking about tarot. What question would you like to ask?
Well, I tell you what,
From the
guys,
deep end here.
can you give me 30? Well, not even that. 10 seconds. My battery's just flashed up. I'm just going to grab my charger.
Oh no, James, fill us in while Kate plugs herself in.
Wow, something I did actually bring with me. Well, I say bring with me. It was in my cupboard anyway. I've actually got a tarot card pack with me. And it's my Egyptian set. I thought it might be quite entertaining to bring.
James, I've had a few people saying, please can you turn your light on? They think it's weird it's out in the dark.
I quite like the glow effect, the red effect.
I agree. There's a bit of light would be nice. You know, in dark times at the moment. John's joined us. Good evening. Thanks, John, for joining us. Sandy as well. We've got loads of people online watching right now, so thank you so much. James, I was saying to Kate, I've never had a tarot reader before. Have you had one?
No, I haven't. I haven't had one. I must admit.
Shocking!
I thought you were doing a dance there, Kate.
I know.
No. It was a camera.
It's now on charge.
No, he's never had one either, Kate. I'm not the only one. James hasn't either.
Oh,
why, James? Why have you never had one?
When I next see you boys, I'll have to give you a reading.
Yeah, I'm up for that. James, why have you never had one?
I guess it's one of those things, really. I thought about it. Years ago when I was in the medium class, we practiced like a few times of like using tarot cards, but it was more for like mediumship purposes. Wasn't really tarot. But I don't know really. I've just not really thought about it. It's something that I've sometimes, I thought, shall I? But yeah.
It's not for everyone, and I guess like if you're quite happy just ticking along and you're not curious about what's coming up for you, you're just quite happy to go with the flow, that you might not have needed one. You might not feel the vibe that you have to have insight into anything because you're probably already in tune or anyway, and you just know, you can feel when something is going to shift, you can feel when something's going to happen, good, bad, whatever it is, you're probably in tune to it anyway.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I do actually have a question, Kate. I don't believe you've covered it at this moment in time. A lot of people will see the death card as a really bad card. Is it that bad?
The death card?
Yes.
No, it just means change, transformation, and release. It can, very occasionally, it can mean the death of a person, but not often at all. I probably only had it about 5 times in all, and I've done thousands of readings where it's actually been the death of a person, and you have a lot of other cards that would back that up as well. You wouldn't just have the death card, you would have lots of other ones that would indicate that there's going to be a passing. And again, it's something you wouldn't normally say. I got caught out by someone a little while ago. Her husband was very ill, and she asked me if I knew when he would pass, and I said, no, I'm not going to go into that. I did, but I thought, no, I said, no, I'm not going to tell you. And then she said, no, that's fine, I understand that. And then she said, so there's something else coming up. Can you tell me when this would happen? And I said, the month. And she said, yeah, I thought that's when he would go. And she tricked me into saying it. But as a rule, I would never, ever predict the death. The only other time I've done it is when I did a group, and they all had somebody, all the readings were coming up similar. And I asked at the end if they were all connected, and they were, and a member of their family was terminal ill. So it would have been weird had I not have mentioned it, because it was so obvious to them. But generally, it's
I can
not.
imagine that's tough.
Yeah, it can be, but they kind of know it already. The people that if they've got someone passing, they kind of know, so they're expecting you to say it. But normally, it just means change. Just means the end. I've had it when I've had relationships end. I've had it when there's been changes at work. I've had it loads of times, and no one else has died around me. It's just been a change, quite a not a happy change. Something that might be a little bit upsetting, could be a little bit challenging there, but normally it just means change or transformation. And some of the decks will fluff it up and call it release, but it's the ending. In the card, you'll notice at the back of the card you've got the sun between the towers, and that's indicating the new dawn. So you've got like literally one door closing and then one door opening.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. We've got a couple of questions. Actually, I'm going to see Kate's having a cup of tea tonight. I've got the gin. I've become an expert on gin over the last few weeks of lockdown. I can tell you that.
I don't
It's
drink.
bad, isn't it? It's bad.
I don't drink
Well,
it. This is green tea. Green tea because I've been eating too much Easter eggs. So the green tea helps the weight.
I haven't had an Easter egg yet. I've got them. I've got loads of them, but I've not even opened one.
But where do you live?
I know, it's shocking. Where do I live? I live in, well, apparently it's in Southsea, but you're going to raid my house?
Yeah, leave them out in the
I watch
front,
that for
social
you.
distance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got to stay apart, all that.
Yeah.
Sandy's asked a question. Does being inside affect your ability or senses? I'm not sure which way you mean by inside, but I guess you mean inside in lockdown, maybe? I'm not sure.
In prison or in here?
That's what I thought, but...
No, the thing is, what I did was, I mean, you can, when you're a psychic medium, any of it, you can pretty much switch it on anywhere. But when I came from my shop to the home, when we did do the lockdown, I made a space in my conservatory. I bought all my cards. I bought my crystal ball, all my crystals, all my cloths. So I made a little sacred space anyway. So for me, although you can do it anywhere, I like to set the scene, and I think you can build the energy in a particular space. So I set about building the energy. I used to work from there before I had the shop anyway. So I just recreated something, built the energy, but hasn't made any difference. But it supports it. Building the energy, having that ambience supports your intuition, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm getting a lot of support. There's a lot of questions on here as well. That's a really good answer, I think, there. Sandy's got wine. I must say, I didn't make the gin. My next door neighbour made this gin. Social distancing, though. It came over the fence. And Phil and my husband makes a lot. I should drink them, so I should point that out. John said Kate's chakras around you are a bit flat. I'm not sure what they mean by it.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know,
how
what's that
John
mean?
did it. That's John. So John reads the chakras on everybody. So he'll be tuning in.
I've met him, haven't I, at the cafe?
Yeah. He'll be tuning in to me, telling me off.
Oh, I'll watch out for that. Philip's asked a question for Kate. Do cards work the same way as dowsing crystals? You don't choose them, the pack chooses you. Yeah, I get what you mean by it. Is that a thing?
Kind of. So dowsing isn't neither of them are working with spirit energy as such. It's more to a pull, more to your intuition. So what was the question? Do tarot cards work in the same way that dowsing?
Yeah, so a lot of belief in the paranormal world is that with dowsing crystals, they kind of choose you. So when you go into a shop, I suppose your intuition, I suppose, takes you towards a certain one, like you're drawn to it.
Yeah. Sometimes some people
Okay.
do some people do magical, wonderful, crazy things with their decks. Some people don't have them as gifts. Sometimes don't buy them themselves. Some people go and believe that you have to have them as a gift. Some people believe that you have to have them all wrapped up in silk, that nobody else can touch them. There's and that works for some people. I'm very down to earth. I'm very grounded. Anyone can touch my cards. Not precious over it. I do my own little cleansing rituals, my own little prayer. I know if the energy that I'm working with somebody if they've got energy that's, I don't know, I don't want to say lower vibration, but energy that's not quite right, I'll know that, so I'll know what to do. It doesn't stop me sharing the cards. I don't wrap them in silk. The silk is the old-fashioned days when they were made of paper. They would be wrapped up to stop the damp getting to them. And then when the craft once the Witchcraft Act came in, people would obviously bury them.
Yeah.
So they then would wrap them in silk so that they wouldn't get damaged. And that tradition is carried on to keep them safe, to keep them protected. But really, it just stems from the Witchcraft Day and originally when they were paper, to stop them disintegrating. So I don't do anything like that. I have a few crystals around them. When I don't do as many parties now, but when I used to do a lot of parties, I would have my little bag. They would be wrapped up in silk, just so that I'd have a tablecloth. That would be it, really, and some crystals in there just to keep them clean. But a lot of it's to do with intent. So you can make it as wonderful and fluffy as you want, or you can, the intent is that you know that you're working in a safe way, that you know that you're working with the intent of it, them being clean, being pure, not having anyone else's attachment on it. So, if it feels right that you go in with a dowsing, that you go in and you get drawn to a deck, perfect. But if you get given them, perfect. If you go to a charity shop, you see them for a bargain price, grab them. Don't really matter, really.
Fantastic. And you mentioned the Witchcraft Act there as well, which still exists today. It's a fraudulent medium act. It's still there somewhere, which is good. It protects people like us from, the dodgy ones out there. There's a fair few of those. I'm sure you'll agree. Corinne said years ago I was given a crystal ball by a medium who said it was for me to use, but it never worked, but I still have it. Crystal balls, I don't know much about crystal balls. I guess they're very different to tarot cards, I would have thought, but I don't know.
They're working on your psychic vibration. So with the third eye, clairvoyance, some people would say they see imagery in the ball, but it may be that they see imagery as clairvoyance, subjectively or objectively, but the ball is there as not a gimmick, but as an extra piece to the ambience. So the person they're reading for doesn't necessarily know or need to know that they're seeing clairvoyant objectively or clairvoyant subjectively. If they look at the ball and then they're getting correct information, that would do them. I've got one just for show. You're meant to look over them, not inside them. You're meant to just kind of like go into a slight gaze and then just look over it. But for me, it's only ever come as subjectively, clairvoyantly. It's not produced. I did go and see a reader once. She's dead now. Forget her name. And she described, but this is before I was seeing Colin at one of our breakup patches. And she said that she saw this quiet guy, likes fishing, like somebody who's older, dark hair, older, and very solitary. And she was looking at the crystal ball and hinting that that's where she was getting the information. But because I know how it all works, I think she was having it from her clairvoyance. But to anybody else, it could have looked like, it was actually happening in the ball. And I don't know, maybe some mediums do see it in the ball. Maybe they do. If they see clairvoyance objectively, then maybe they would. But for me, it's never. It's just a nice little piece of tool, it makes the room look nice. But again, everyone's different. Everyone uses it in a different way.
And that's the thing about this industry, is that you've got to be open to everybody's beliefs, because we're all different beliefs, we're all different opinions. But I do think that no matter what your belief is, you've got to be open to these things. I mean, I said I've never tried a tarot reading before, and there's no reason for that. I've just never done it. But I would do it because I'd be interested to see what comes out of it. Because I think you've got to be working in this field the way that me and James do. You've got to be open to these things. I think that's a big thing. Philip said he's thanks for that. He said like I said, I've got a pack of cards. I never use them, but I do go to them and move them around the house. Does that mean anything? For example, maybe it's not the right time or anything like that. So Philip said he's got a pack of cards he's never opened, but he does move them to different parts of the house and wants to know whether that means something. I.e., does it mean that it's not the right time to use them yet, or anything like that?
Possibly. It's always difficult to say exact. But possibly, maybe it's just, the energy's not right, time's not right. Maybe he's got a block there for whatever reason. Yeah, who knows? I'd have thought there's a block.
Similar note, Gemma's mentioned as well that she does your course. She mentioned when she started your course, she bought a pack of tarot cards, and then later on, she was cleaning out the house and came across another pack of tarot cards she bought years ago and forgot about it.
Yeah.
So she's saying that could be a sign, I suppose, that actually it was always supposed to happen.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah. Subconsciously, she bought them, and then can't remember how long she said she bought them, but quite a few years ago, she was in admin, so 9 to 5, proper job, and then 6 months ago, 7 months ago, left that and came to work for me in the shop. Didn't have a Scooby about anything spiritual. Just had a little interest in it, but didn't didn't have a clue. And then all of a sudden, she started to get in with everything, and she's doing really well in the psychic development group. Within weeks, she was picking things up. She joined the tarot group, started connecting with that. Now she's getting into the crystals and the chakras. And yeah, while we had the lockdown, cleared our house out and found a deck of cards from years ago, way before she met me, or even thought about coming on anything psychic. So obviously somewhere, it was it had been drawn to her, definitely. I think what happens is you have your pathway, and then your free will takes you to wherever. But if you're meant to get back on track of it, you'll ping back at some point, and that's when
like everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's when you'll feel complete. When you've pinged back onto your pathway, that's when you start to feel everything falls into place. Then.
And I always find that I've worked in paranormal for a good 20 years or so now, and I always find that no matter what I do or wherever I go, I can go up to Manchester for what, and they never even know I do the paranormal, but for some reason it always comes back. No matter what I do, I always get led back to the paranormal.
Yeah.
It's a really strange thing. I love it, don't get me wrong, I love doing
Yeah.
it, but sometimes things are just meant to happen, aren't they?
Absolutely. I say I had my first deck at 15, and then I was doing all the astrology. When I got into my late 1920, I went off the rails and it was the 90s, so I went and enjoyed the 90s. And then I kept meeting people that was in it. The boyfriend that I was seeing, his parents were healers. A group of friends I had, their mum was a medium, and all these little signs. But at the time, I kept pulling myself away, and then bumping into things that kept bringing me back into it. Then when I got into my 30s, gave up work, and even at work, the people that I would get on really well with, we always had the spiritual stuff in connection with. Then when I did give up work, had the children, and got into all this properly, everything just fitted into place, and it was like I tried to come away from it, but it just brought me back. So I think, if it's your purpose, it's your soul purpose, I think you will.
Really weird, because I was at work about a month ago. I was at work before we locked down and everything, and I don't really mention about the paranormal work because I keep it very separate. It's someone else's business. And a girl said to me at work, she went, "Oh my god, I saw in the newspaper the other day." I went, "What?" She said, "Yeah, I didn't realize you do ghost tours." I'm like, "Oh god, here we go." So it's like you just can't escape from it. It's just part of your life, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is part of you. So again, a few nice comments, James.
Yeah.
Question for you as well there, because again, you're medium, but you don't do tarot. What I want to know about is the psychic development courses, because Kate mentioned that. James, you mentioned you did a mediumship development course. So just tell us, James, first, what's the mediumship development course all about?
Well, I guess really it depends on what medium you see and what group you actually sit in, because there's some mediums out there that believe mediumship, T's need to be crossed, you've got to dot for I's, and everything needs to be done in a proper format. Of course, there is some mediums out there that believe it should be a more of a natural process, and you should just go forward and see what you feel. So I would say it does depend on what medium actually teaches the course. I just noticed, can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have got a fund going at the moment, James. We've got an appeal going on. It's called the Fund James's Light Bulb Appeal.
I quite like the spooky glow. I think it looks fascinating. I haven't
Yeah,
been able to
you're a little bit quieter than me and Kate are on the old microphone there. But so you sat for a development course. Did you find that was helpful for you?
Who are you talking to, me or James?
Oh, James, I think he's gone quiet. Isn't he? Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. So I thought you were speaking to Kate. With medium class, yes, I sat in it for quite a few years. I did find it did help, especially when it came to ghost hunting and stuff like that. And of course, it did supply that guidance. I think sometimes when it's all happening and you don't quite understand it, it can get a bit overwhelming. But when you do sit down in a class or in a group and you can go through that, it's much more easier to understand of what's going on. Because, good example, for me, a lot of stuff happened when I was about 18 years old. Now, back then, I didn't quite understand it all. Was it a normal thing to see like a ghost, walking past or whatever, or being around and noticing someone's family member there that passed away? Okay, maybe it's not. But of course, it was only by guidance afterwards that I realised, this is what's going on and this is how you control it in the best way possible.
It's a weird small world. I mean, actually, before we knew each other, I lived a couple of doors down from Kate back in Cosham many years. I didn't know who you were, but I remember seeing you walk past every day.
No, the
Up and down the
pushchair then,
busy
wouldn't it?
spot. Oh, yeah, with a pushchair. I remember saying to someone, "Oh, yeah, I see someone with a pushchair." They went, "Oh, yeah, that's Kate." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah, we were like,
small world."
I know, 2 doors away. Didn't really realise.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now. We've been out there 9 years, I think, something like that.
Wow.
Kate, to be fair, you do quite a few different classes, don't you, in your cafe?
Yes, yeah.
So you do psychic development. So what does that entail if people
So we
want to get involved in that?
it's a mixture between the psychic and the mediumship development. So we because it's different levels. It's an open circle. It's not a closed circle. Because it's open, it means that anyone can join at any time. So we have to do the psychic and the mediumship, because if we were just doing mediumship and you've got people joining that don't even know what the difference is between the two, they're going to be a bit stuck. But then we've got people that have been there quite a while that have now gone through the psychic work and now they're ready to do the mediumship side of it. So we have to fit for them as well. So we do different divinations each week. We always start off with prayer, with the meditation, or sitting in the power. We alternate it from sitting in the power to a meditation. And then we do a different divination each week. So it could be cards one week, it might be pendulum the next week, it could be psychic art one week. So different, everything's different. And then we end it with mediumship links. So we kind of blend the two, the psychic development with the mediumship. And occasionally we do little mini fledgling nights where those that are confident can stand up and make a link and give the message to those in the group as well. But I've been running it about 3 to 4 years. 4 years maybe, yeah. Quite a long time.
I like the old fledgling idea. I think that's a good idea to get people involved, isn't it? It's particularly for newbies, where it can be, you can learn your craft, but getting up in front of people and doing it,
So different.
that's where, that's really tough to do.
So different,
This is a hard audience as well.
Yeah.
It's always that different.
I practice I do quite a few outside workshops where I go, and I just did last year a year with Mavis Miller, which is one of the best teachers ever. And then now I'm joined, or before we did lockdown, I joined the Temple Portsmouth Spiritual Temple, and to do their platform and philosophy practice. So I've linked in with them for my own development. So then whatever I learn, obviously I can take back and support the group even more so there. But it's totally different. And doing a one-to-one reading is so different to doing a platform. So different.
Complete. I can imagine it completely is. Gemma said, James, did you follow supernatural stuff when you were at school?
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we could both
Gemma
answer yes to that one.
didn't she?
Yes, she did indeed.
I know, we're getting another little story here.
When I was at school, I was always interested in paranormal books and the witchcraft books, whatever was in the library at the time. Wasn't many, but there was a few there. But of course, for those of you that don't know, my first paranormal experience was actually when I was 6 years old. So quite a long time.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It's a bit like what you were both saying earlier. You're always drawn into something. You always go back to something. And for some reason, with me, no matter how much I try to run away from it, I'm always drawn back to all things ghostly, the paranormal, supernatural. And it's always there. And sometimes I think it's a bit comical, funny in a way, because I could be at home and I think, okay, I'll have a night off. I'll put Family Guy on, for example, and it'll be an episode about a ghost. So, yeah. But yeah, it's something I've always been into, and I guess when I was at school, the only thing I really had back then, because we didn't have too much internet available, was the books in the library.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same thing when I remember being really young, and I was school age was quite young as well, and I remember that my mum still has it, in fact, a bookshelf at the top of the stairs. There was hundreds of books on there, but there was two on there from Peter Underwood, right? And they were the two that grabbed my attention. I remember reading them at a really young age, and then my dad got me into watching programs like Sightings. And do you remember Strange But True back in the day?
Yeah.
Remember that program? Fantastic program. There was an American kind of version of that called Sightings, which I watched as well. I've just been involved the whole time around this. Jeremy, you might remember James was very quiet at school, I bet, wasn't he? We kind of got out, kind of forced that out of him, didn't we? You are?
I might have been a bit quiet.
Yeah, I think somebody shoved you on stage once, didn't they? When they told you no one was going to be there, there was like 500 people.
That was actually Andrew.
Whoops, sorry about
that. Andrew done a talk at Winchester Theatre in front of 500 people, and said, "Could I just go up there to support him?" And then halfway through the talk, he said, "Oh, and here is James to do a talk on mediumship."
But it worked, didn't it? Can't show him up now. Yeah, she said he was so quiet. To be fair, I was very quiet at school as well. I think people don't even remember me from school, probably, to be honest. I was that quiet. And what's happened now? So, yeah, so you do loads of classes. You've got a cafe as well, Kate, as well, in Portsmouth.
Yeah, caution, closed at the moment, but we'll be open later.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I mean, this lockdown, we've got to do it. It's so important to do. And actually, we should point out as well that when we do come out of lockdown, you must support local businesses like the cafe, like what we do as well, because actually, this is a massive testing time for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah. I
Having said that,
today. I went into the coffee shop today and moved a few bits around.
And you thought, please can't we just open now? We can't.
Yeah. I don't know. At the moment, I'm loving being off. I don't know if I want to go back at the minute. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the sun. I'm enjoying catching up with all the admin. So I'll probably give me another 2 months, and I might be like, oh. But at the moment, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I miss the customers though. I do miss the customers, but because of obviously social media, we can catch up with a lot of them.
Yeah, good old Facebook and that a lot. Philip said tarot is becoming more popular now and is growing in interest. I suppose nowadays you've got the option, I guess, to do online readings, maybe that kind of thing.
So I've still been doing online readings. I used to do phone readings and online readings anyway, particularly when we are in London. We've got a lot of clients abroad, so that I've always done that. But that's all we can do at the moment is the online or phone readings now.
Is it harder to do it online, or is it easier? Because I always think that if you're away from someone, it makes a difference.
Makes no difference. No, it makes no, because I've done so through my group and my page. I mean, every day I do a live on my group, my Facebook group, and on my page we do it every week at the minute. So I've been doing that for years, used to doing it, so it's exactly the same. Again, I think at the beginning, a bit weird, but now the energy's been built, you know what you're doing. Yeah, doesn't, to me. Colin doesn't like doing it so much. He's not a big fan of phone readings. He prefers to see faces, so he don't mind Skype, but it doesn't bother to me.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, that's the way the modern world, well, especially now, is moving towards, isn't it? The ability to do things through Zoom or through platforms like the one we're using.
I think
that's
now
what the world is like.
So many people are now transferring their work to online. I think when we come out of this, there'll be a good portion that won't go back. There'll be a good portion that will stay doing online things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly changed the working culture across the world, hasn't it? I think
definitely.
With things going
I'll do
on.
a mixture.
So
I'll do a mixture. I'll do some online things and then I'll do some face-to-face stuff still. But I'll probably do more courses online. The tarot course, I'll probably expand that a bit.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, definitely be good. I mean, again, that'd be a very popular thing to do. So earlier we mentioned that you mix in mediumship with psychic within the courses because people don't often know the differences between the two. So if you were to explain to someone what those differences are, how would you explain it?
So for me, a psychic reading would be using the cards or just using the energy of the person in front of you. You can set all sorts, because in your cells in your aura, you've got every single memory going back from a child. So you could tell, and all your ancestors, you could tell without linking into the mediumship when someone died, when they lost someone, when the change happened. That's all within their makeup. So, but psychic is reading that energy. And predictions, when I do predictions, I'm working on a clairvoyant psychic level there. But the mediumship, the only way I can describe it is it just feels different. The psychic energy is a bit more draining, and for me it's like coming at the front. It's the only way I can describe it. The mediumship is like it's a lot more, it's a bit warmer, and it's like a direct link that comes, and depending who or what side they come in, but it just feels different. It's a difficult way to explain it other than to say it feels different. But the psychic is from the front for me and telling you what's going on around the person, if they're going to look at moving house, if they've had fish fingers for dinner, they've had 4 boyfriends, whatever it is, you can pick up all that in your psychic. The mediumship is the proof of survival. So saying I've got your aunt, I don't know, Janet here, she died at 44 and she lived up north and she had 3 arms and red hair. That's evidence. So that's the mediumship side would be the evidence. But you can blend the two. A lot of people would blend, even when you're doing a reading, you couldn't sustain a mediumship link for an hour without dropping a little bit of psychic into it. But I think it's important to be aware that actually I'm in the psychic now I'm working mediumship. And obviously on platform, it's you would want to be working more mediumistically, not psychically there. But you could still give what would look like a mediumship message, but it would be psychic. And if you don't have a clue about it, people would get away with that. But those that know would know. But it's a fine line.
And what about you?
What, the difference between
What line did you say?
difference between psychic and mediumship?
Yes, good question.
I think Kate's quite explained it quite well. Of course, more or less on the same lines. Mediumship is proof of survival, and it's trying to bring forward that message of someone, relative or family member or friend, and bringing proof forward that it is actually them. And I think sometimes, like you said, Kate, it's very easy to switch over to a psychic way and try to pick up stuff. But of course, it's more psychicness, and we've all got our energy around us and everything else. But yeah,
you can feel the energy when you watch a medium work. You can feel the energy, so you know when they're being legit because you can feel it. If it feels psychic, if they're being psychic, the energy is different. So you just know straight away. If you're into it and you know what you're looking for, you can just tell straight away. But sadly, people aren't educated enough. So there are some people out there that will give psychic messages and get away with literally murder on the stage, if you like, on the platform. But at the end of the day, who are we to judge? As long as that person in the audience feels better, as long as they feel that they believe that they've got life after death, they believe that their grandma has made contact. At the end of the day, it's all about healing, isn't it? It's you can be really judgmental, but at the end of the day, what does it really matter? That person's been healed, helped. They're going to go away feeling good, believing in themselves. At the end of the day, that's the main thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if they're sensitive about it, they still wanted to go ahead and do it, then why not? That's what they're happy with.
Yeah.
I've got a question as well, Kate. I know different people tonight have said they've got tarot cards at home. I've actually got a pack as well, and I've never really used it. Is there any tips you can give me and for other people that's watching of what we could practice at home?
So, as all psychic work, you would do your little bubble of protection, you would do your little prayer, and then you could start off by just 1 card a day. You've got 2 ways of doing this. You could either have pick a card in the morning and have a look at it, and then go about your day, but use the message of the card to support anything that happens. Or you could not look at it and then at the end of the day look at it and see how your day has gone and what the meaning of the card is and how that connects to your day. So just by, some people put a card under their pillow, some people do meditation on it. There's so many ways, but for me, like I said, I'm grounded. I like to keep things simple. I would just pick a card. When I first started, I think I just picked a card in the morning and just see how everything unfolded. And then it's just doing little, ask a question, pick a card, see what it is, have a look in the book. Some people throw the book away. I like books. I think, no, learn it from the book and then throw it away. Once you've got the underlining basic message of what it means, then you can use your intuition. But some people are really smart and clever and intuitive. They don't even need the book. So again, there's no right or wrong way to it. But when I first started out, I had the book, I had my notes, and I went round reading for people. Obviously, I didn't charge then. And I would be putting the cards out saying, oh, that card meant that in that position, that meant that. And over time, I could then got to remember what the cards meant, but I would also get another layer of the psychic vibe over it. And then later on, you get another layer, which is the mediumship coming in. So you can be doing the reading, then all of a sudden, you know, you've got grandma come forward. So then that kind of pulls you off. But to begin with, that's all different layers. But to begin with, just one card a day, or ask a card question, maybe pick three cards just to give you a little bit of a blend of a guidance. But just keep it really simple to begin with. Don't worry about the cross, the Celtic cross. Don't worry about 10 card readings and 12-month readings. Just simple, one a day, and see how you get on with that.
Okay.
Oh, that's fantastic tips. So yeah, definitely. Question as well for you from Philip. Do you see auras when doing tarot, and do they affect anything?
No, I don't see them at all. Never seen them.
Oh,
No. The only time I ever see them is when somebody is on platform, and then I can see it. But because I'm clairvoyant, so I will hear green, red, blue, but I don't see it. And then intuitively, you have to work out what that means. So for me, that's not always around the book. So green sometimes is healing, but actually for me, some green is money. For me, green means money, financial things. So blue
right.
to me, some people have blue as healing, but blue is communication to me. So yeah, you have to, again, that's something you have to work on your own. But I don't see auras at all. I just hear this is the colour that connects around them.
For those who don't know, what is an aura? What's that all about?
It's like your ready Breck, isn't it? Your ready Breck shadow around yourself. So this is a good way. I heard someone say this, which I really like. So you've got your internal organs, you've got your body, and you've got your organs inside, and then you've got your chakras, and they are your organs of your aura, your etheric field.
Okay.
So your
within.
spirit body. So your spirit body that is outside you, that has got your chakras in it, and they are your organs to your aura, to your spirit body, like we add our organs to our physical body. But it's there. It's what gets expanded when we raise our vibration to work. That's your aura is getting expanded, and that's how the spirit world can come close.
James, do you see auras?
I don't actually. I guess sometimes I get the feeling of people. I guess I wouldn't actually say for auras, but sometimes I feel like the person's energy. And I think classic example, it could be someone introduces you to someone, and it's almost like, I don't know why, I just got something suspicious about that person, or if there's something there. And other people, like, it's a really good person, you know, if they've got a good energy vibe. But for me personally, I don't really see auras or anything like that.
But they say that plants have got aura, animals, anything living,
I
basically.
suppose they're living, aren't they? So...
And yeah, anything living has got that vibration.
Yeah, see, learning loads of new things tonight. Gemma's put love the chakras. Again, I don't know. I mean, I know bits about chakras, but for those who don't know what chakras are, we probably should expand a little bit in what they are all about.
They're like energy centers within your body. There's hundreds of them all over your body, but most people talk about 7 or 10 now, 11 now, starseed, and your forget the other one. But you've got your base chakra, which is by your tailbone. Then or below that, you've got your solar plexus, sacral chakra just below your belly button, then your solar plexus above your belly button, then your heart chakra, your throat chakra, third eye, and crown. And they all connect to different emotions, different vibrations. And when you're working, whether it's psychically, mediumistically, or just if you're in a good mood or a bad mood, or good health, bad health, they're like wheels of energy centers. They can get blocked with emotional problems, blocked with all sorts, really. And different ones would be connect. So your base chakra is usually connected to your mum, your family, your roots, your home, your security there. Your sacral chakra is more connected to your dad, your money, feeling safe. Your solar plexus is more about your inner child, your creation, your fun, your drive. Your heart chakra is obviously your emotions, your relationships. Throat chakra is connected to all your communications. You're speaking of the truth or not. Your third eye is your clear vision. So whether you can tune into things or whether you're seeing something clear or not. And your crown, they say, connected to the divine, which opens everything up. I tend not to work with the crown so much. When I'm doing the meditations, we just stick to the third eye, because I think the crown connects you to all the I don't like the word light beings either, but can connect you to you just want grandma and granddad and your aunties and uncles, and I think that's all at the third eye level. If you open your crown, I think you could go to loads of different areas and galaxies and things, but to work with relatives and friends, you would just need your crown, your third eye. So I don't work with this other one too.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's about as far as you need to go, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
We go, James. Do you work with chakras or anything like that?
Personally, if I'm doing mediumship, I guess the only one I really notice is, of course, the third eye. Sometimes I could be on a ghost hunt or in a haunted place, for example, and I notice I get a pain in my forehead and it'll start hurting and it'll carry on hurting. But that's all really I take notice of. I guess really, okay, I should take notice of more stuff that's going on around me and what's actually happening. But I think sometimes I just take it as it comes and I just see what happens at the time I'm doing it.
There you go. So, Kat, how do people get in touch with you about your work, your cafe, your class, all the kind of things that you do?
So you can either contact me on most of my platforms are under Kate May or Kate May Modern Day Mystic. My website is www.katemay.co.uk, and the coffee shop is all under the Mystic River Lounge. So again, Facebook's, Instagram, whatever, under Mystic River Lounge or mysticriverlounge.co.uk for the website.
And when it's back open, do go there, because we've been there a couple of times to do talks and things for you on the paranormal and stuff, and it is a nice little community of people there. So, yeah, go and check it out when it's back open again, because it's a nice little place, isn't it? Fantastic little place for like-minded people as well.
I like it. My second little home.
Even though you're not missing in a moment because you're enjoying being in the sun and being at home. But that time will come. That time will come. We'll put those details on our live page as well. Any parting thoughts, James and Kate, on anything from today?
Yes, really, tarot cards is it's a very interesting subject. I guess it's been around for many, many years, and I think even what you said to me about doing like one card a day thing, for me that's quite eye opener, and it's something new for me to try, and of course I imagine people at home to try as well.
Yeah, I mean, we said at the beginning, I don't know if you were there, James, the cards, people think they're for prediction, or you get the cards, you pick a death card, oh my God, someone's going to die. They're not about prediction, they're about guidance and the message within them. The prediction is another layer again. So if you've got the death card, the message is that something needs to change around you. It's not saying something is going to change. It's telling you that in order to reach your higher self, in order to reach a happy home, your happy place, you need to change. Something around you needs to end, needs to finish before you can start something new. So there's the message within the card. It's not about the predicting. So whatever card you get at the beginning, definitely don't even think about, oh God, this is going to come up today. the lover's card. Oh, I'm going to meet my true love today. Look at the message of it. Look at what it means and work with that. And then you'll get a much better understanding of it. And you won't be freaked out either.
Yeah, you were saying at the moment people need that support, don't they? Because people want to know what's happening, what's for the future, and all that kind of stuff.
I did do the cards but just before we shut the shop. So what it was, beginning of March, I think, first 2 weeks of March, we did the cards on it because you could hear obviously the vibe was there, and we got the middle of June. That's when it looked like it would all come.
They've been saying, haven't they? They reckon that's when.
Middle of June, yeah.
Well, they reckon, don't they?
But that again, that's if everyone does what they're told and everyone is behaving, then it was 3 months. But I think some people of other tarot readers have said the same. Mid-June, summer solstice. A few have said summer solstice. Some said July.
Okay, yeah.
I think September is when things will really start to settle down. But I
also, it's going to be a while, isn't it?
I think it's going to come back around Christmas. I think we'll have some more disruption at Christmas as well. And then we'll come
I think
into
it's not the last we've seen of it. And I think that you've hit on a massively important point there, is that people, if they stick to the rules, they do what the government say, they protect the NHS, hopefully we'll get us out of this a lot quicker.
Hello, boys.
Oh, that's all right.
Hello!
Hello.
That's that's an important point, isn't it? It's really to make sure that you do all the stuff that you're being told to do and keeping everybody safe. It's a key thing. James, what have we got coming up on the show? I think we just see one of our guests on coming up on the show very soon. He is.
Yes, we've got Colin Friday coming up.
This Friday?
About trance mediumship.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Good job we did this little segment. You walked in at the right time.
Must be psychic.
You walked in at a fantastic time. So shock. We're back on Friday with Colin, and then who else have we got coming up, James?
Oh, we've got a mixture of people coming up.
Put him on the spot now, look.
Sandy from America talking about ghosts. We've got Corinne from Maker Inn.
Oh, Andy, did you say?
No, Sandy.
Oh,
Hopefully we will get Andrew or Andy on here soon.
Do you want to get him?
But yeah, we've got a mixture.
Yeah.
Coming up. We've also got Dan on coming up and talking about for Annabelle Doll and his ghost experiences.
He's worked with the Warrens in the past, who are quite obviously well known in the paranormal.
So yes, we've got a mixture of people coming up. All quite fascinating. All brings something different, whether it's a different part of the world or different aspect to paranormal. It all fits in nicely.
He's making me laugh. I can hear Colin in the background. He's making me laugh.
He's like,
A big thank you.
and I'm like, oh,
I said, they're live. A big thank you again for Kate for being here this evening and joining us, because it's been a fun night. It's been good. We've learned a lot from it. So a big thank you for coming on, and we'll pop all your links and stuff on our like pages. Don't forget we've got the supernatural news, which has come back after a few years with loads of new things. We've got this live show happening regularly. We've got James, those stuff, haven't we? We've got articles on our website, news, all loads of stuff on our website. So supernaturalnews.com is a place to go to, and on the live pages and stuff as well. Again, big thanks, guys, for being with us tonight.
Okay.
Take care.
Stay in, stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. Stay in, and we'll all get out quicker. Have a good one. We'll see you very soon.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, sure. Come on.